Hello and welcome to the show. We are here today on Forza Horizon 5 with some more multiplayer racing. For this, we are going racing with B-class vehicles fitted with V8 engines, and I have gone for a pickup truck. Yes, I know the Colorado comes with a V6 normally, but I swapped a LS into it, so it's now 540 horsepower of supercharged V80 goodness. It's on off-road race tyres. It's quite heavy at just under £5,000, but I mean you can see the theory I'm going for here. Big tyres, make it good off-road, and then hope it's half decent on the tarmac. I've done this a couple of times before, most recently with a Ranger Rat. We've kind of gone for the sort of rival to that one, and I am the only one that's done it as well. Because of course I am. Everyone else is in the sort of stuff you expect to be in this. Well, the Dino's got a 355 engine in it. Tirana's here. We've got a Crown Vic with a V8 diesel. We've got Corvettes, Camaros, Mustangs. I mean, there is another truck in the form of the Lightning, although it's a bit different to my Colorado. Yeah, I don't know. The Mustang, the 65 Mustang, definitely one to watch out for. They're generally an excellent car. Tirana actually also a very, very good car. Tirana, you get lots of power, massive tyres, very light. And now we're starting off-road the Caldera circuit. This is where my vehicle is going to be strong. This is where the Colorado should, in theory, be very, very good. A lot of vehicles might not have the PI for even off-roady based tyres. I know the Lightning's on off-road race. I haven't seen what everything else is on though. But yeah, if I had gone a different route with this build, if I hadn't gone for a big pickup truck, I would potentially have tried to get vintage race tyres on a car. That would perhaps be the way that I would have gone. And that would be terrible around this circuit. This is very much the circuit where you want the off-road race tyres, and that is it. We have got the Lightning coming with us, so I'm going to guess the Lightning's been all-wheel drive swapped. There's no rule, you can swap stuff around as much as you like. So you want to make your Lightning all-wheel drive. I mean, as I said, I've got a different engine in mind. Tirana's up in third, which I'm going to guess probably still rear-wheel drive, judging by off the line how quickly we blitzed everything. I'm pretty sure I saw that on some off-road race tyres, and it's quite sideways heading up towards the hill, so that's generally a good bet. Yeah, I mean, around this circuit, this is where this is going to be strong for me. When we go to some other circuits, I mean, this is a good handling truck. I do like the Colorado as a vehicle to build on Forza games. It's kind of smaller and lighter than quite a lot of the other options you might go for, which does mean it can generally get turned into quite a good little race truck. B-Class means to get all of this power that I wanted, just means it's heavy. It's the trade-off. I could have ran it with less power and made it lighter, but I didn't want to, so we've gone with give it a crap ton of power and hope the very big tyres are good enough. No real option for aero either on these trucks. I don't know whether I'd have taken it in this class anyway. It's not exactly streamlined, shall we say, so we probably want any advantage we can get in terms of top speed, because when it comes to the tarmac circuits, they're going to be very different to this one. It's going to have a whole set of different challenges. The whatever it was is up into third. I've now forgotten. I know that was the car that I was going to be watching out for. Oh, it was a 65 Mustang, wasn't it? It's up to third. Yeah, that could be very fast wheel on the tarmac. I've had a really scruffy lap here, which has not helped me whatsoever. We're going to have to start being a little bit careful. The Lightning has actually made a little bit of a mess of the final corner. The Lightning just gets close enough to start giving me a worry. If I make a little mistake somewhere, the Lightning's just immediately gets to the back of us, but then now the Lightning's made a little mistake and we've pulled the gap again. Yeah, that 65 Mustang. It's not going to be able to catch us up at the front, but that's clearly got some pace to have worked its way through. The Buick is having a tough time around here. It's not. Yeah, if you've not got a vehicle, thank you very much. It is always appreciated when cars that are not so well suited to these circuits go up against cars that clearly are. They stay nicely out of the way. The Crown Vic has had a visit to a building. Easily done through, very easily done through that section. We've all done it at some point while racing this track. One more lap to go. We've kept the gap pretty much the same. Yeah, the Lightning can match us. Can't really do anything to catch up to us. We have a good lap. We can maybe pull it away a little bit. The Lightning has a good lap. It can catch a little bit, but we're only talking small differences here. Either of us make a mistake and it quickly changes. I'm going to presume the Ford will be lighter than I am. A fair bit lighter, probably. Come on, you bugger. There we go. It's nicely enough around there. Well, again, not the best corners we've ever taken. We're catching up towards another car that's struggling. I think it looks like a Camaro of some sort. It's like a Bumblebee Camaro, to be honest. I think I might be right, actually. Some long-range car spotting. Probably should focus on the driving. Around the final corner, yeah. The 65 Mustang is closing a little bit. I think the Mustang will get fastest lap. It might only be a few tenths quicker. So there we go. It's a good start. You know, I can't ask for a better start than that one, really. The two trucks claim a first and second, although the Mustang was quick. Indeed, our Mustang was, yeah, it was a little bit faster than us, 0.8 of a second, but just had to struggle fighting its way through the pack. Me and the Lightning set, as I thought, we were very similar. So similar, in fact. Lap times are separated by not much more than 100th of a second. So, yeah, I'd say that's close. The Tornado ends up in fourth, head of the Corvette, Mustang, and the Pontiac GTO. The question is going to be what tyres is that Mustang on? It is on off-road race. Okay, so all three of us are on off-road. Expected it to be. I couldn't think of anything else that would have worked around there. So we're all at least the same tyres when it comes to the tarmac stuff. We head to the Garden Circuit for our next race. A nice spot on the grid for me again. Thank you, game. I'm going to get screwed over at some point, but the car I'm most worried about is at the back. I'm a little bit worried about the Lightning as well, but the Mustang is the car I have big concerns about. Me and the Lightning are much more similar for this sort of circuit. The Mustang is much lighter. Corvette could also be fast. That's alongside us. I'm hoping, in some ways I'm hoping the Corvette's rear-wheel drive. If it is, it means we can bolt and then potentially have to defend for the rest of the race, but I guess we will find out. We are definitely off the line better than the Corvette. It did look like that car was on off-road race tyres, so it won't have crazy amounts of grip over us. I mean, again, it's going to be considerably lighter, although it's going to be on older suspension than we are. That is something I have going in my favour. We've got a good chunk of power, but of course, yeah, power-to-weight ratio won't be better in this. It's a good start, though. We are able to make the most of our lead. Don't miss a checkpoint like an idiot, though. It's very easily done at that corner. So many people have missed checkpoints. I've done it as well. We've all done, again, it's another one of those checkpoints that is just very easily missed when you're trying to get really quick lap times. Where is the guy? We go. Where are we vulnerable? Apparently not down this hill, because we're miles faster than the Corvette in a straight line. That is good news. We could be vulnerable on the exit of this section, because we've got a crap ton of understeer, although there's only really one line through this final corner. You just can't overtake there. And sure enough, the Corvette's in trouble. The Lightning's battling with the Mustang that's already up to third. That is alarming. We are kind of working on the basis the Mustang's going to catch us. And if it does, we'll just have to go full defensive mode, really, against the Mustang. It kind of helps that the Corvette might be a buffer, or it might be more of the rate that Mustang is catching, it might be just more of a speed bump than a buffer, actually. But I don't know. You never know sometimes. It depends on how strong the Mustang is in places. The Corvette is seemingly very, very good through these corners. Got no straight line speed, but it is grippy in the turns. And I've got to be careful I don't beans it up and let a Corvette sneak past. Down here is where I'm most worried about it. It's closer than ever as we barrel down the hill towards the section of track that I don't really like in this. We're just very slow, and the Corvette can carry good speed, and I do not want to be stuck trying to go side by side. Although the Corvette carried too much speed on the way in, we will sneak past. The Mustang might get both of us if we're not careful here. It's about to be the uber defensive time for a very big pickup truck. Through everywhere. We're going to have to do a lot of defensive driving for the remainder of this race and hope that a Corvette can cause some trouble. Come on, Team Chevy. In fact, the Corvette's done a good job. Mustang struggles on that corner exit through there. Now, the 65 Mustang won't quite have as big a tyres, I don't think, as me or as the Corvette can get. Come on, Colorado. Yeah, use that power, use the torque. Run away down this straight, because we need a breather, because things are about to get hectic again for us at the end of the lap. This is where we really, really come undone. I've got to be better at the bottom of the hill. I can't afford to have that understeering wide. Problem is, if I go slow enough that I don't understeer wide, they may well just go around the outside of me. We'll have to wait and see. That time there was perhaps a little too slow, but it was safe. Although it's helped that they're busy going side by side themselves. That makes my life a million times easier. That was a bit dicey. Bit of a wonky line yet. They keep fighting. Let the pickup truck have a breather for another lap. As I say that, I've pissed away the nice breather we got by being an idiot in turn 1. Still fighting. Good. Good. I want to see that. Because the longer they fight, I was worried when the Mustang got to the back of us. I was worried that we were then going to have to defend solidly for the remainder, but we haven't had to defend because the Mustang's been busy having its own fights. There's only so much defensive driving that you can do. The Mustang might clip the wall, and I think it's going to come under fire from the Corvette. And yeah, the Chevy Alliance, well, it's not really an alliance, it just happens to be the cars we're driving, is working wonders. I mean, we're actually all getting caught by Bumblebee. Bumblebee nearly got lapped last time out, but is much faster on the tarmac. I'm going to presume vintage race tyres might be on that Camaro then. That'd be my guess as to how that's working. It's not very nice through that corner. We know we're going to be potentially vulnerable through here. I just simply cannot carry the speed the Mustang can. Corvette is into the wall. Right, now it's going to be at least one lap of heavily defensive driving for us here. But we know we're good out of this section. This is where the Corvette couldn't live with us, and I don't think the Mustang can either. It's closer than the Corvette got, but we know we can get a little bit of a gap, and then we can just defend through here. You want to go past, we're going to make it really awkward for you to do so. Park it on the apex, and don't let there be any space. Where we're really vulnerable is at the bottom of the hill, because we can pull a gap. You don't have to defend here, and I don't want to defend unless I absolutely have to. Any defensive line is slower than a normal line, so if we've got the gap, I don't want to defend thin air. But yeah, this is where we're going to be the most vulnerable, is at the bottom of the hill. The Mustang trying to just send it around the outside, for example. Although Mustang's looking to the inside, it's just not quite close enough through all of this. If we get a good exit through here, which we do, it's nicely done. Oh, and the Mustang missed a checkpoint trying to catch us. It couldn't do it. Respect where it is due. The Mustang tried everything. Threw away a podium trying to carry speed through that final section. Colorado held on. That was a tough race. In fact, the Camaro caught at the end as well. Camaro was doing some fast lap times. In fact, it is the Camaro that gets fastest lap of the race. The SVO was quick. Actually, no, it wasn't. Ignore that. The 65 was the fastest lap, the 1 minute .7. But they couldn't pass me. The Colorado created a roadblock for long enough. I mean, it was fast enough that it wasn't easy to pass. It was fast enough in the right places that it wasn't easy to pass, and the fact that the Corvette battled and held that Mustang for so long was really helpful to me. That was a great race. That was a great race indeed. And the truck gets another victory. We head to the River Scramble for our next race. Game. You are far too kind to me, but this time it has put the 65 Mustang alongside us, so that doesn't have to deal with all of the traffic. I have a feeling I might struggle to keep that behind for the entire race. I mean, the one advantage I have, one big main advantage I have with the Colorado is the water splash. We will be quick through there. We have the ride height that the Mustang doesn't. But other than that, I can't really see where we're going to beat the 65 Mustang. I mean, we might have a bit more power for the hills. I guess that the power and the torque for climbing the hills might be where we are strong. But if it gets past us while we're in ghost mode, I'd have a feeling we won't see it again, or we'll gradually see it disappear into the distance. We'll have to wait and see, though. If we stay ahead of it while we're all in ghost mode, and we do, thankfully, just keep it ahead, we will try and make our Colorado... Oh, got a bit of understeer coming down there. We will try and make the Colorado the widest pickup truck once again. Never mind the Trudy train, we've got the Alex train going on in this video so far, and we'll try and do it again. This section, actually, I guess we can maybe make a gap coming up the hill. The SVT Lightning may be decent speed around this track. Yeah, so we can pull a little bit of a gap up here. And this section here is all flat out. You won't really go on the brakes for a while. I don't know if we'll need to brake through. We'll have a lift through there. We did just about get the vehicle back on the ground. Difficult to pass down this hill. You might have a throw it to the inside as we transition onto the tarmac through here. We will get that transition nicely, and then we're back into an acceleration zone. We might end up infuriating a Mustang because he's getting closer, 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 closer. Oh, and then we've got a fast section where Colorado can use its speed, although we have to have a big lift through there, and I don't think the Mustang does. Okay, so now I don't actually really ever defend this corner here. I don't want the inside because the bit that's important to be on the inside of is here. And the Colorado is a big truck that can park on the apex, and we can just force a Mustang to go a long way round, and then we can use our speed once again. We can fend off and use the acceleration of the massive truck to get through. And the Mustang's going through the deep water. That is not what you want to do, especially not in that car. In my vehicle, it's not so bad. I don't really have the grip to pull it all the way across to avoid the worst of the water. But yeah, when you're in the lower slung vehicle, you don't want to hit that deep water. But you can see the gap we've made through just that bit alone. And now the Mustang's got to spend the rest of the lap just trying to catch back up to our rear bumper, which will, put us in a better spot again. Because you can't have a dive down here, it's way too far back. It's only a small braking zone in these B-Class cars, especially these B-Class cars that are well suited. Both of our vehicles are very well suited to this track. It's well suited in different ways and everything. Come on, onto the tarmac we go. There you go. Okay, the Mustang is definitely the quicker car here. It's just, it's quicker, but can it find a way past the very annoyingly wide Colorado? Through turn 1 we go. And it is going to be this section where we are the most vulnerable, I think. We'll give the Mustang the inside if it wants it, or we just won't defend the inside like crazy. There's no need to, because I've got to make sure I park it here. Send the Mustang the long way round. I seem to remember doing this to somebody a little while ago. Basically, it's just the same thing. It's just the most important thing at that corner. It's just make sure for the second part you can get to the inside. Again, the Mustang's through the deep water, so I think what they're thinking is if they, because I'm swinging out really wide, and although we've actually then slid and hit the wall there, which has kind of screwed up my plan a little bit, but the Mustang had nowhere else to go, so they got boxed in regardless. But yeah, if I think by going through the deep water, they're thinking they can get to the inside for the next corner. The problem is that you lose too much momentum, but you're never close enough to be able to get that look to the inside. We may be vulnerable this lap around more so because we've not quite built the gap like we did in previous ones. Third gear was not the right gear for us there. We will sort of fly our way down the hill. We will have to defend this final corner. We'll defend it as much as we can. We are pretty much looking back more than we're looking forward at this point, where the Mustang is looking, but now you're going to be compromised heading into turn. This is where the Mustang is so fast, but it was stuck on the outside of us, and we've got the acceleration, so it's not close enough. It might have a throw to the inside here, and I've missed my braking point a little bit. Now, the critical bit is we're still going to be on the inside through here. So we messed that corner up a little bit, but it still puts us on the side I wanted. We've still got the acceleration. Mustang's trying to cut underneath, but again, it's going to find itself in the deep water and not going to be able to find itself yet. It's not going to be close enough to have a look. This time we will not run into the wall. We've really slowed it down. Again, I've been in this battle on the receiving end of it, where you just try everything and you cannot find a way past. We've still got half a lap to go, so I'm not going to speak too soon. Never do that. You're asking for trouble if you do. We've got a nice little gap back to the Mustang. We'll fly over the crest, get the Colorado settled for this run down the hill. Mustang tries desperately, but it really is a kind of last-ditch effort here. Where is it going to have a look? Because we're going to just park it on the apex through here. You can't go any further to the inside than us. Thank you very much to the Buick out of the way. And we will round the final corner. It's been a wonderful, wonderful race. I have frustrated the crap out of a Mustang. Colorado claims victory number 3. We made the widest possible truck we could in that one. Basically, 2 corners we had to defend. And as long as I put my car in the right place every time, there was nothing that poor Mustang could do. It was the faster car. I think it wasn't like unbelievably larger amount faster. Otherwise, it would have just got past me. But it was a bit faster vehicle. We could just park the truck time and time again where we needed it to be, and the Mustang could not get past. Yeah, Colorado takes victory. Mustang second. Lightning gets onto the podium. But it very much was a two-horse race, that track. We head to the Lookout circuit for our next race. Not a terrible spot on the grid here. If we can get a good start, poor Mustang cannot catch a break. It's even when it has a good spot on the grid, it's still behind me, and now it's all the way at the back. In fact, the Corvette's all the way at the back as well. The Tirana is probably one to watch here. It will likely be quite strong at this track, or potentially quite strong at this circuit. We will get off the line nicely. Of course, the rear-wheel drive vehicles will squirm and struggle, and this is where we can make the most of the Colorados. I mean, the Colorado's strength is that it's so good off the line. It is probably the fastest starting of everything here, which means we get into turn 1 in the lead of the race. Although we don't quite have the mid-corner grip. That is a problem. We've got to watch out for the Mustang SVO as well. That may be better suited to this track than some of the other ones. And guess what? There is going to be a certain 65 Mustang that is very, very bored at the back of a Colorado. Maybe more difficult to defend here, though. This track, there's more than a couple of overtaking spots, and it is a lot more difficult to defend around this twisty section than it is on the River Scramble. Mustang's already there looking. I mean, we can hold the inside. We know it's going to try and cut underneath us. Yeah, we're not going to allow that one to happen. But I fear it's only a matter of time. It's not actually the twisty section there that's my biggest concern. It's this part. This sort of quad corner almost in one go. That is where we may have some grief. The Mustang will close. It's kind of on the exit here, where I just don't know if we can carry the speed that the Mustang can. The only saving grace is as we climb up the hill. Mustang's on a very tight line. We do have the power. We have the power and the torque and the top speed advantage. It's not much, but it's enough, perhaps. And we will be clear. And this time we won't have to be crazy defensive up here just yet. Although I can't afford to make any mistakes. And that's the thing with defensive driving like this. Yes, you can hold cars behind for a while, but it relies on one thing. It relies on me not making any mistakes, and we've made a big enough one that I think has let the 65 pass. Yeah, it's got us. And I don't have an answer for it unless it's very slow off this final corner. Yeah, it's just... all it takes is to run wide on one corner, and it's not even wide. All it takes is just run wide enough to let a car up the inside, and you're kind of done for. I just can't live with it through these turns. Yeah, we will. I mean, we'll try if we can get a good run down here. Mustang, I was hoping it was going to slide up into the wall. That was going to be my best bet, really. And it did not, because yeah, now we're going to be too far to dive. And once we're out of range of being able to compromise the Mustang anywhere, and it can just run its own race through this next section, I cannot live with the 65 Mustang's grip. It's just got too much for these corners here. There's nothing I can do with it. I did think this was going to be a difficult track to defend for long, and sure enough, I feel like I could have held it for a little bit longer, possibly, if I'd driven everything perfectly, but after the last race, it's probably fair enough in some regards. I know, it was a great pass, actually. All credit where it's due. It was a wonderful pass to find the gap there. Now I've got more things to worry about with the Corvette behind me. We saw at the Garden Circuit the speed that car had, so we are going to have to watch out for that. Looking for it. It's just there. It's there. It's that sort of corner. Well, the Corvette's also got into trouble. I just can't maintain the momentum almost needed in that section. Bumblebee is in fourth in all of this, which is, yeah, I mean, that's... It's a car that's designed for one sort of a circuit, which is kind of all well and good. It's not maybe had the best spots on the grid, but it is also getting beat. I say, unfortunately, these things with the off-road race tyres are just about working everywhere. I know I'm a very different sort of vehicle here. Oh, come on. I have got a very different route, and it's a route that's struggling around this track, if I'm honest. we're definitely going to have to be wary of that Corvette. We may have to go into maximum defending mode again. It was nice for a lap. It wasn't a very good lap. Jesus, that Corvette's got no top end at all. It must be very light. Would be my guess as to where the PI's gone in that. It's the only thing is it's on the same tyres as me, so it's not like it's running quirky tyres. It must be incredibly light to have got to the top of the class and be that slow down the straights. Yeah, that's all I can think of. But it will make it good. I mean, we saw how much it gained on us in that final section, so that is going to be a concern for me. We're going to have to get ready again a little bit. Not actually a great line on the way in. We've taken that quite shallow. Where is the Corvette going to try a pass? It might try a pass. Yeah, as I say, it wants to get alongside. Oh, it has got to the inside through the penultimate corner, but it's the wrong side for the final turn. And we know the Corvette's got no straight line speed. Good effort. Good effort from the Corvette. I mean, actually, a bunch of cars were catching at the end there. The Camaro was catching, as was the SVO. I think they got stuck in their own battles and just lost too much time early on. They couldn't quite catch up to the fight. I mean, it's victory for that 65 Mustang, and it did vanish. I had no answer to the pace. I mean, no one really had an answer. The Camaro was into the 59s, but it was only a high 59. No one had an answer to the 65 Mustang around there. I clung on for dear life, pretty much, by the end of it. But it's still a second place. Still can't complain at that one. We head on to the final race of this set. Bloody hell. This has been some ridiculous grid spots. This might be the best average starting position on a grid for me ever, I think. Like, the Colorado's been good. It's been a good vehicle. It has been helped a lot by some fantastic grid spots. Corvette and Mustang are not that far behind. I mean, the longer straights might not be too bad for the Colorado, although the higher speed corners could be sketchy as anything. We know we're going to get a good start here. We know we accelerate well off the line. I mean, the Mustang is going to come with us. That thing is, you know, that's the second fastest starting car, basically, and it was only a row behind me, so it's going to be with us in no time. I think it might be difficult to fend it off for long periods of time here, especially because I wasn't brave enough. I should have been way braver through turn one. I just didn't know how much understeer we were going to get, and that brush on the wall is not going to help matters. Yeah, I can't live with that mid-corner speed. That's the real problem. And oh, we're not even going to be able to be flat through there. Ferrari Dino has made an appearance. Haven't seen that one today. We are going to duck underneath it though and make that work. I guess one thing we can possibly do with this is run over the rocks and it not really hurt us. That's about the only thing though we've got. We'll have ultimate top end on the Mustang by the looks of it, but I don't think we've got enough top end to get back past now we've fallen behind. We didn't have a great start, and I think that could be, sadly it for us, really. We'll have to settle for a second place, or defending second place from whatever might make the charge towards us, although the Mustangs ran wide and hit the wall through there. I mean, the Mustangs, it's got good grip, but it's not limitless in that. It can still get into trouble. I mean, our tyres will be warming up on everybody's vehicle now. You've got to push a little bit harder. We've pushed a smidge too hard through there. Yeah, I mean, if I get it right, we can still carry some good speed in places. I wonder if... I mean, we're going to be kind of quite greedy with these corners. Mustang actually took out the stones for us, which is kind. Not only are we... I can't live with the speed of that car around a track like this. It is just a little bit too quick. Said, if I was in front of it, I could probably make life really annoying. We've been very good at that in this, because yeah, we could just park our car. I think potentially here there might be a few too many fast corners for us to get a little bit undone with. Yeah, it's just every lap we're going to gradually fall back. And this time though, we're not really in the clutches of the Corvette. I think the Corvette's lack of straight line speed is just going to slaughter it around this track. The Emerald Circuit's, I like it as a track. It's always an interesting one for a build, because you've got this section here, for example. It's very slow, it's very technical. You want some good handling, and the final corner as well, very technical corner. And even to an extent, this hill, while it's flat out in a lot of cars, it's actually easy to get into trouble down there. But you know, you've got these bits that you want grip for. You've got some high-speed corners that you do want a grippy car with, and you can get grippy cars to be fast around a lap here. But then you've got these longer straights as well for the power cars. So yeah, this has been a funny track for car builds as to how best to approach it in some ways. I'm not sure I've got that corner right. Actually, no, that kind of worked. I'm worried about missing a checkpoint. It's easily done, but we were okay this time around. Yeah, the Mustang's not quite as crazy fast in comparison here as it was at the previous track. We're a little bit more competitive. I mean, we're still not going to beat it, barring a missed checkpoint, but yeah, it's not quite vanishing as quickly as it has elsewhere. The Corvette is in its strong section. I mean, the gap fluctuates massively between me and that one. Oh, that's a little too brave from me, but so I say it's not much that we can do other than don't do that clonking on the wall again, because I don't want the Corvette to get close enough to start having a look. But I think even if it did, I think we could probably be annoying and make big old Colorado roadblock again, because that straight line speed advantage in that fight would be huge. Oh, not that corner. I think diving more to the inside around that corner was working with this vehicle at least. Yeah, it's just these high-speed corners. I think stop-start corners we're not too bad in. You know, we've got the acceleration, got the all-wheel drive traction, but yeah, we've got the acceleration in the stop-start sections. It's just these higher-speed corners. Nearly 5,000 pound of pickup truck is a bit difficult to get turned. The Corvette is going to have a go, but that's always a very difficult manoeuvre to pull off. I was trying to set up. I was going for a line to get for a good exit out of that chicane, and the Corvette was just carrying maximum speed, which is understandable. We will just park this on the inside, and Corvette will try, but it won't be able to outrun us. Oh, the Corvette tried a little too hard. I mean, you've got to go for it. It's the final lap of the race. There was a shot, although I think the Corvette might have thrown away a podium. It's difficult. Yeah, I mean, we parked our vehicle in a way that I knew it was going to be very difficult for anything to get to the inside on. The Corvette did still get third, at least. Yeah. Just did not have the higher speed corners. I just can't live with the much lighter cars, which is to be expected like at the end of the day. But I do like... The Camaro was fast again around there. It couldn't seem to get through the pack quick enough, really. I do like that. I do like that Colorado. That is a great overall vehicle. It does remarkably well for what it is. It's good off-road. I mean, I know how good the 65 Mustang is. It's an incredibly strong car in general with this sort of stuff. So for the Colorado to have put up such a good fight, I'm actually really, really pleased with it. We had some really good racing in that one. Yeah, I'm pleased with my truck. We went a different way to everybody else again with this, but it definitely paid off. It definitely paid off. It was very, very wide. But there we go. That is going to be it for this video. As ever, if you would like to sign up to take part in one of these, you can via our Discord. There'll be a link to it in the description. Find the Versa Community sign-up section, and you can register to take part in there. That, though, is going to be it from me. Thank you all very much for watching, and until next time, a goodbye.